Hey, what's up, Premium Chasers? So I recently released a video talking about how to retire using the SPY wheel and collecting premiums on a weekly and monthly basis. However, one of the common questions that you guys asked me was, Pete, I don't got $500,000 plus to be running the wheel strategy on. And that's all cool because I've got your back, all right? Today, I'm gonna show you guys a low cost ETF that I think is perfect for running the wheel strategy on, especially if you have aspirations to either create income during retirement or you wanna retire early. Let's go. All right, before we get going, one lucky commenter down below is going to win a free premium play call with me where we can talk all things quad option strategy and get you started collecting some juicy premiums from options buyers. But guys, today is all about retirement, right? A lot of us, we want to retire early. We want to be able to make money when we're actually retired. And I've shot a couple videos on this already. And one of the common things was like, Pete, I don't have $500,000. Like, how can I still do something and get involved in this, whether you're closer to retirement or you want to get in, you want to make money in retirement as well. I believe this to be the best way to do it. So I'm gonna show you guys a stock or an ETF today that I think is fantastic and has great diversification for you. And that is ticker symbol SCHD. This is the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. Now, why this one? Well, number one, it's low cost. I think that's the big reason why, right? Number two is diversification. Listen, when you're, if you have plans for retirement, you kind of can go two routes when you're selling options. One, you kind of have your own managed portfolio where you spread your risk across the board, right? You might have your, more riskier stuff. You might have some stuff in the middle, right? And then really boring stuff, right? But that requires more time and effort on your part to actually manage, those covered calls, those cash secured puts, all that good stuff, right? Or you can go the route of just running the SPY wheel or the Schwab Dividend Equity ETF, right? That already gives you, they're already self-cleansing, right? I like to look at those as self-cleansing, right? Because, the crap gets out, pushed out and only the good stuff stays, right? So this is a good one because you don't need a ton of money to kind of get started with this. Now, let's kind of just get into it. So let's say you want to get involved, with collecting premiums on the Schwab ETF, right? So we're going to go over to trade options. And the first thing we do is we sell a put. We sell a cash secured put. Okay. Now, usually with these, they're not, you're not going to be able to do weeklies with SPY, right? You're going to usually have to go out, about 30 days to do this kind of strategy, right? You just are, okay? So in this case, I'm just going to do, April 17th right here. That's 28 days. Now, you can go out further if you want to. I mean, you could go out 120 days. And of course, your premiums are going to be nicer here. And we'll get into that here in a second. But that's the strategy where you have to think about, right? For me, most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to just do these either weeklies or monthlies. With this case, obviously, we're going to be doing this. A monthly, right? Because we kind of have to, right? We don't really have a choice. All right. So in this case, you're going to have to be closer to the money. And the reason we need to do that, guys, is because you want to take assignment. Okay. But let's just look at this cash secured put leg first, right? We obviously have this $28 put right here. It has a 45 delta. So that's a 45% chance that you will be assigned, but that's okay. Listen, the reason this is a great ETF, sorry, I always say company. The reason this is a great ETF to run this wheel strategy on. And remember, the wheel ain't the wheel if you're not getting assigned, right? So I think some people forget that. You're like, I don't want to get assigned, right? I just want to collect premium. Well, then you're just selling cash secured puts. You're not doing the wheel. The point of the wheel is to get assigned and then to run covered calls, collect premium, and then get appreciation. All right. But the reason this is a good ETF to do this on, and the reason SPY is great to do this on, is because, look, past performance is not indicative of future results. We all know that. But for the most part, we always hit all-time highs, right? Maybe we stuck holding it for a little bit, but for the most part, we are going to hit an all-time high at some point. It might not recover as quickly as we want, but for the most part, we do. And that's important, in my opinion, if you're doing this with retirement funds, right? Or you're using this to generate income for yourself in retirement. You don't want to go into something sketchy that that, like, you know, people are doing like leverage play Bitcoin ETF stuff. Like that's like nonsense. The premiums are insane. Your returns are like short, like 10-15% on your money, right, in a month, which is insanity, but you're getting a ton of risk at that point. Now, your risk tolerance needs to get lower when you're doing this for a paycheck for yourself. Okay. It's just, you do, right? So if we go over to back to that trade options and we go to the sell put, and then we go out to that 28 days, we could see right here, we're collecting $45, right? We're just using, we'll just round up our 3 cents here, for $45. Now, what are we risking, right? We are risking $2,800, right? Because 28 times 100 is $2,800, right? So let's go to our cash secured put calculator. Very, very simple. We like to keep things here. We're going to put our $2,800. Actually, we already have that in there. And then $45, right? We have our $45 that we are collecting in premium. Okay. Now, you're going to get about 1.61% return in a month less, 28 days, right? We'll put our expiration is 28 days here. Annual return of 20% here, 21%. If we do this trade every single month, that's fine, right? We're generating actual income. Now, some of you might be like, well, Pete, what's the point here? Well, the point of this strategy is to generate actual money that you use. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, this is like a self-funding way. Let's say you have like 100 grand. Let's just say in this case, for this example, I'm just buying 50 contracts. Like, this is 50 contracts. You see that right here. That's 50 contracts that we're buying, right? And let's say you do have, you know, about, you know, 150K to deploy on the strategy. You would collect $2,200 a month from this. Now, you're not taking from this $140,000 bucket, right? You're leaving that in there, right? You're just taking out your premium that you're collecting, right? That's the money that you're actually can go out there and like live your life or whatever you want to do, right? That's that premium, but you're going to continue to leverage that 150K that you have to keep generating the money. Now, I know some of you are like, well, but I don't even have $150,000. Like, okay, then the unfortunate reality is then you need to go make money. Like, you need to go out there and like get a job, a good paying job, and a career or whatever. But I'm assuming if you're like looking to retire early, like you wouldn't be looking at this video. I don't think you'd want to retire early if you like don't already have money. Like, I'm just going to assume you already have like 100 grand portfolio in some way. Like I otherwise you wouldn't be searching for this topic. So I don't know, but you can just do less contracts, guys. Like if you're just like, you know, getting your feet wet, right? Like you could just buy 10 contracts, right? You buy 10 contracts, right? Boom. 10 contracts, you'd collect $450 in premium on your $28,000 in collateral, right? And you would obviously, you know, be able to use this money. Now, if you're not necessarily like trying to do this for retirement, I would recommend reinvest that premium, right? Reinvest that premium into like Vanguard funds, or just reinvest it into your selling options portfolio that you're allowing to grow with this like income generation. Okay. Now, the flip side is where it gets interesting, right? So let's just kind of, just for the sake of this example, let's say you do get assigned like a single contract here, right? You bought it at 28, right? You bought your 100 shares at 28, right? So let's go back. Let's go to our cash secure or covered call calculator here, right? And let me actually view. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Zoom in. We'll do 125%. Hopefully you guys see that a little bit better. Let me do 150, and then on the cash secured put side, I'll actually do that. So I always forget to do that. So apologies, guys. So let's just go on the covered call side and just use this as an example, right? So let's say you're collecting the same amount of premium. Let's say $47. For the simplicity, we'll even just say $45, like just for the simplicity, right? And let's say you did buy those 100 shares of, or 100 shares, and your $2,800 is gone, right? And you have 100 shares that you bought at $28, right? So your purchase strike price is 28, right? That's what you purchased it for, right? Your premium return is, again, about 1.61%, right? Roughly about the same. It is the same, right? We put 45 on our cash secured play. I think was that 45 or 47? Or whatever. Doesn't matter. We'll just use the same example. right? But your premium is 45 here. You're getting about the same exact return, but now you get to sell your potential shares. So let's say you, instead of at 28, you have them at 29, right? You're saying, hey, I'm willing to sell my shares in 30 days for $29. Well, if that ends up happening, you make an extra $100 on your money here, right? You make an extra $100 if that you actually sell plus the premium for a total profit on the trade on just the covered call side of 145 plus the 45 you collected from your cash secured put as well. So you'd make a total of $190 basically in just like this 2 months. Now, your total return here, we'll just put 190 here to actually show it, on all your capital would be about 10% in a 2 month period, right? It would be about 10% in a 2 month period, which if you ask me is damn good. Now, that doesn't always happen. I want you to have reasonable expectation. Most options expire worthless, meaning that you're just walking away with that premium, okay? You're just walking away with that premium. But with the wheel, and if you're playing around with this, closer to the money, right? You can actually get assigned more often. And that's a decision you're going to need to make for yourself. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check the description for our 60-minute selling options workshop. I want you guys to actually not just learn this stuff, but actually go and start implementing it and start collecting some poker chips from these silly options buyers. And while you're down there, make sure to drop a comment for your chance to win a free premium play call with me. Guys, I will see you guys tomorrow.